Hello everyone, welcome to online education of Sir C.R. Reddy College of Engineering. So in the last class we have seen some problems, especially in terms of your university previous solutions. Now in this class also we are going to solve some of the problems based upon hydrothermal scheduling. So once it is completed, we'll go for what is the course outcome from this unit. So already we have seen what is my course outcome in the first unit. And for this unit also, we will see what is the course outcome from this unit. And at the end, I will ask one simple question, that is observation question. So first we will take some of the problems, means one or two problems for this class. So all of you read this problem. All of you read this problem and try to understand this problem. So this is nothing but a given problem. Just take a moment and try to understand this problem. So let me explain this problem. In a two-plant operation system, the hydro plant operates for 8 hours during each day. A steam plant operates throughout the day. For example, if you are considering a day, means we will have 24 hours. So out of that 24 hours, hydro plant operates only for 8 hours. And coming to the thermal power plant, it operates throughout the time period, that is 24 hours. And the next input is the characteristics. They have given some characteristics, that is CT and WH. The CT is nothing but related to the thermal power plant, and WH is nothing but related to the hydro power plant. Next one is when both the plants are running, the power flow from the steam plant to the load is 190 megawatts. So you must try to understand this concept. So when both the plants are running condition, means both the plants are producing the power, generating the power. In such case, the power flow from a thermal power plant to the load is equals to 190 megawatts. And the total quantity of water used for the hydro plant operation during 8 hours is 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube. The first statement is related to the thermal power plant, and the second statement is related to the hydro power plant. And these two are nothing but the characteristics of the thermal and hydro power plants. CT is nothing but fuel cost function for a thermal power plant, and WH is nothing but it is related to the discharge for your hydro power plant. And in this one, whatever the first statement is there, that is related to the thermal power plant, that is power flow from a steam plant to the load is equals to 190 megawatts. And the second statement is related to the hydro power plant, that is total quantity of water used for the hydro plant operation during 8 hours is 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube. So this is nothing but very, very important given data. And last one is what we need to find out is generation of hydro plant and cost of water used. Mean generation of hydro plant means we need to find out PGH. PGH means power generated by using hydro power plant. And the second one is we need to find out cost of water used. So what is the meaning of cost of water used means gamma. So already I told you that what is the meaning of gamma and what is the significance of gamma. Simply it converts from water inflow to the cost of water. So in this one, our objective or our target is we need to find out PGH and gamma values. So this is nothing but your problem. And the last one is neglect the transmission losses. Neglect the transmission losses. For example, when we neglect the transmission losses, what about the penalty factors here? Here we have two types of sources are there, thermal and hydel. Means the penalty factors are nothing but represented by LT and LH. What about your LT and LH? Yes, very good. I got message from 18 series 214 and 52 also. Of course, one. Very good. So LT and LH values are nothing but one only, because when we are not considering any loss concept, then there is no meaning of considering of your penalty factor. So that's why in this case, the penalty factor of thermal power plant, that is LT. Similarly, the penalty factor of hydropower plant, that is LH, becomes 1. So that is the meaning of neglect the transmission losses. Now, think about how to get the solution, how to solve this problem. What is the given data here? Hydro power plant is operates for 8 hours and steam plant operates for 24 hours. And we have characteristics are there, that is CT and WH. So this is one point given data and this is the second point. Third point is power flow from steam to the load is equals to 190 megawatts. Now tell me here, what is the value of PGT now? Tell me. What it represents? This 190 megawatts is what? What it represents? Yes, I got one message. Yes, very good. PGT only. 18 series 52 is saying that PGT only, because just try to understand this statement. When both the plants are running, the power flow from the steam plant to the load is equal to 190 megawatts. So it means in this case, this 190 megawatt is nothing but PGT value only. For example, when we are considering the transmission losses, our PGT value may not be equal to 190 megawatts. But here the most important point is neglect the transmission losses. When we are neglect the transmission losses, whatever the power flows from steam plant, that is nothing but PGT value only. So that's why we can take it as 190 is nothing but our PGT value. Similarly, one more point is the total quantity of water used for operating of 8 hours is 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube. This is nothing but a total water. And similarly, if you are considering WH, this is also related to the water. When you substitute this PGH in WH, and it must be equals to 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube. So what they're asking is, we need to find out hydropower plant generation. So how we can find out is, we need to equate this WH to 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube, because this is also related to the discharge or usage of the water. Similarly, 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube is also nothing but related to the usage of water. But the difference is, this 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube is nothing but usage of water for 8 hours. But coming to the here WH, this is nothing but a water equation for meter cube per second only. So we need to convert from second to the hour. At the same time, we need to multiply with 8 only, because this is only for 1 hour only. But coming to this usage is for 8 hours. Understanding everybody? So that's why you can equate these two. From second to hour, convert from second to hour, then multiply with 8. Then you can equate this WH to the 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube. Then you will get double PGH. Okay. So try to solve this problem. Yes, very good. 18 series 214 is saying that 480. So what is meant by 480? What it represents 480? So let's see the solution. This is a very, very easy problem. So first is, let us consider the cost of thermal power plant. So already we have know what is the meaning of CT. It is nothing but the cost function of the thermal power plant. And now we will go for incremental fuel cost. So how to get incremental fuel cost? Do the differentiation with respect to the PGT. Then you will get incremental fuel cost for the thermal power plant. Similarly, consider for hydropower plant. So this is nothing but the WH equation, means related to the discharge. And how to get the incremental water flow equation? Do the derivative with respect to the PGH. Then you will get dW by dPG. This is nothing but incremental water flow. We know CT value. So from this we can find out incremental fuel cost. We know WH. And from this we can find out incremental water flow. So this is nothing but our basic step or first step. So after that, let us consider what is the condition for optimality for thermal power plant at the same time hydropower plant. So this is nothing but the condition for optimal solution when we are considering two sources at a time. But already we have discussed about LT and LH values. LT and LH values are nothing but penalty factors. In this case, what they are telling that neglect the transmission losses. So once we neglect the transmission losses, these two values are nothing but becomes 1. These two values becomes 1. Then how you can represent is dCT by dPZT is equals to lambda value. So what is meant by dCT by dPZT? It is nothing but 0.05 PZT plus 14 is equals to lambda value. But here we don't know lambda value. But what about our PZT? PZT value is a known value or unknown value? Yes, respond anyone. PZT value is known value or unknown value? Yes. It's nothing but known value. Very good. 18 series 52. Because it is nothing but 190. Very good. So already it is present in your given data. Your PZT value is 190 megawatts. So once you substitute this PZT in this equation, you will get lambda value. Tell me lambda value here. Tell me lambda value. Yes, very good. Lambda value is equals to 23.5. Very good. 18 series 214 and 252. So once you substitute this PZT is equals to 190 in the above equation, then we will get the lambda value. And that is equals to 23.5 rupees per megawatt hour. So this is nothing but your lambda value. And the next one is related to the hydropower plant. And one more given data is that is how much water we have used in order to operate your hydropower plant for 8 hours. So how to represent that equation is WH. So already I told you that we need to convert from second into hour. So how to convert? By taking a multiplication of 3600. This is only for 1 hour only. But in your given data, whatever the water usage is there, that is not for 1 hour. That is for 8 hours. So that's why again you need to take here one more multiplication factor, that is 8 into 8. So whatever the WH equation is there, this is per only 1 hour itself. Meter cube per 1 hour. But in your given data, the water usage is given for 8 hours. So that's why multiply with 8. Then equate to water usage. Then you will get PZH value. Tell me PZH value here. So for an 8-hour operation, the quantity of water used is this one. So already we know WH value, that is 0.00212 PGH square plus 7.5 PZH into 3600. This is only for 1 hour. But why we are considering here H? Because we know the water usage for 8 hours. That is nothing but 220 into 10 power 6 meter cube. So equate these two, then find out PZH value. So if you simplify this expression, you will get like this. So from this find out PZH value, you will have one quadratic equation. So you will have two values for PZH. Forget about negative value and tell me positive value for PZH. Solve this equation and tell me PZH value. So as our equation is a second order equation, you will get two solutions for PZH, two values for PZH. So one is you will get one is a negative value and one more is positive value. Forget about your negative value and tell me positive value for PZH. Yes, I got one message. 18 series 214 is saying that 891.387 megawatt. Then whatever the remaining people, please solve as early as possible. So this is the last class for your second unit, and with this unit we are going to conclude your second unit, that is hydrothermal scheduling. Yes, one more person, please respond. Anyone? Do the response for this answer. PZH. Find out PZH. So we have one quadratic equation is there. Solve this quadratic equation and tell me PZH value. Yes, I got a response from one more person, that is 18 series 252 is saying that 503.43 megawatts. So there is a mismatch between roll number 52 and 14 now. 14 is saying that 891.387 and 52 is saying that 503.43. Okay, let me take one more response. So one more person, please try to give the response for PCH. It is nothing but a simple mathematical steps. And in this unit also, we have very limited formulas are there, maximum 3 to 4 formulas. The first one is nothing but the optimal condition for the thermal power plant. And the second one is optimal condition for the hydrothermal power plant, means combinedly. And the next one is loss expression. So when you know these minimum formulas, then automatically you will get 7 to 14 marks. Of course, A0 is saying that 891 and roll number 18 series 226 are also saying that 891.38. Means most of the people are saying that 891.3. So let's see the answer for PCH. So that is nothing but you will get 267.698 megawatts. Please all of you recheck your answers. PCH value is 267.698 megawatts. This is nothing but your the first solution. That is PCH value. And the next one is we need to find out cost of water. What is my cost of water here? Gamma value. So how to find gamma value? So when you remember, when you recall the optimal conditions, how we can write the incremental fuel cost for hydropower plant. So how we can write? This is nothing but incremental fuel cost for hydropower plant. That is gamma into dW by dpH into the penalty factor of hydro power plant is equals to lambda value. So here the penalty factor is equals to 1 because we can neglect the losses. And we know dW by dpH and we know lambda value. The only unknown thing is gamma value. Find out gamma value. So how you can get dW by dpH? Already we know WH. Just do the differentiation with respect to the PCH, then you will have dW by dpH. And the penalty factor for both the power plants is nothing but 1 only because they have given that one hint, that is you can neglect the transmission losses. And we know lambda value, that is around 23.5 something now. So only unknown value in this equation is gamma H. Find out this gamma H and drop your answer in our chat box. Yes, tell me gamma value. .808 means 0.8. So this is nothing but a gamma value. Of course, answers are not final. The thing is, the primary thing is the procedure. So please try to know how to get a solution with a proper procedure. When you know the procedure, then automatically you will get some solution. Whether it is right or wrong, first you must know the procedure. Okay. So gamma value is 0.80. Very good. So gamma is nothing but 0.80. So this is the solution of this problem. So very simple solution. The thing is we have used very basic formulas. That is nothing but, so this is optimal solution, optimal condition for hydropower plant. And similarly we have used very basic formulas. Optimal solution, optimal condition for a thermal power plant. And let's take one more problem similar to this one. So please all of you read this problem. So take a moment and read this problem and understand this problem. So final answer is secondary thing. The primary is the procedure. You must know the procedure, how to get the solution, how to solve the problem. That is very important. That is nothing but primary step. Now all of you read this problem and find out the unknown parameters. and think of how to get the solution for this one. So let me explain this problem. A thermal station and hydro station supply an area jointly. The hydro station is run 16 hours daily, and the thermal station is run throughout 24 hours. The incremental fuel cost characteristics of the thermal propellant is Ct is equals to this one. And one more given data is if the load on thermal station when the both plants are in operation is equals to 350 megawatts. Now tell me what it represents 350 megawatts. If the load on thermal station is equals to 350 megawatts means what it represents. When we neglect the losses, what it represents? 350 megawatts represents what? It is also similar to our previous one. So that's why this 350 megawatts is nothing but our PGT value. And the incremental water rate for hydropower plant is given by dW by dpgh. And one more given data is the total quantity of water utilized during a 16 hours operation of a hydro plant is 450 million meter cube. So here, when you are considering hydro station, it is operates for 16 hours. And when you are considering the thermal power plant, it is operates for throughout the time period, that is 24 hours. And Ct is nothing but the fuel cost function for the thermal power plant. And this 350 megawatts, whatever the load is there on your thermal station, it is nothing but your PGT because practically PD value must be equals to PG when we are neglecting losses. So this is nothing but your PD value. So we can equate this one to your PGT value. And one more given data is incremental water rate for hydropower plant, that is dW by dpgh. And one more given data is if hydropower plant is operates for 16 hours, then the amount of water used is 450 million meter cube. Just similar to our previous one only. Now we will see what they're asking. They're asking find the generation of the hydro plant means we need to find out here PGH and cost of water used means gamma value also. So along with the PGH we need to find out the gamma value. Assume that the total load on the hydro plant is constant for the 16 hours period. So this is also same as that of your previous one. And try to solve this problem and tell me the answers for hydro plant generation and cost of water used. Please solve this problem. So we know Ct value here. So from this we can find out incremental fuel cost and make it to equals to lambda value. And we know PGT value. Substitute that PGT in your incremental fuel rate, then we will get lambda value. So from Ct value we can get a lambda value. That is first solution. And the second one is use this equation. Use this equation. dW by dpg is equals to 28 plus 0.03 pgh. But one more given data is total amount of water is used for about 16 hours is 450 million meter cube. So we need to equate this 450 million meter cube to total amount of used. But here instead of W, what is there here? dW by dpgh is there. Means it is nothing but incremental water rate with respect to the power generation. So if you want to find out the total water discharge or the water amount of water used, we need to multiply with PGH. We need to multiply this equation with PGH. And again, we need to convert from second to hour. And how many hours your power plant is in operating condition? 16 hours. Then again, we need to multiply with 60. Then you can equate this equation is equals to 450 million meter cube. Then you can get PGH value. Okay, tell me answers for PGT, not PGT, lambda value and PGH value. Your PGT value is nothing but 350 megawatts here. Then find out lambda value from Ct. Then find out PGH value from the second equation. Yes, PGT lambda value is equals to 40. Yes. Yes, 17 series B1 and 52. Of course, so many people are giving the response that lambda value is equals to 40. Yes. Then find out hydropower generation. PGH. So let's see the solution. So first we know the CT value. So from this we know PGT value, that is 350 megawatts. Find out incremental fuel cost, then substitute PGT, then you will get lambda value. It is nothing but 40 rupees per megawatt hour. Then we'll move to hydropower plant. So for about 16 hours operation for hydropower plant, the total amount of water used is 450 million meter cube. So this is nothing but dWdPH multiplied with power and 16. Why we are taking here 16? This is only for 1 hour. But coming to the hydropower plant, how much time it is in active state? 16 hours. So that's why we are considering here 16. And why we are considering here 3600? We need to convert from seconds into hours. So finally you will get this equation. From this, find out PGH value. So from this, find out PGH value. So again, you will have one quadratic equation. Solve that quadratic equation and tell me PGH value. 18 series 214 is saying that 224.84 megawatts. So let me take one more response. Please, all of you try to solve these problems. Yes, 224.849. So let's see the answer for PGH. So that is 224.849 megawatts. Very good. So here, already told you that solution, final answer is nothing but not primary thing. It is nothing but secondary. The primary thing is your approach. In what way you are going to solve this problem? That is nothing but approach. Your approach is very, very important. That is the primary thing for us. So finally, when you solve that quadratic equation, you will get PGH value equal to 224.849 megawatts. Our next one is gamma value. How to find out gamma value? Okay, so again, we need to consider optimal condition for hydropower plant. This is gamma, and this is incremental water flow rate. Your penalty factor value is equal to 1, and it must be equal to lambda. We know lambda value, and we know PGH value. Find out gamma value. Tell me gamma value. (1.151). 18 series 252 is saying that 1.151. Yes. One more person, please give a response. So 1.15. Very good. 215. So let's see the answer for gamma. It is nothing but 1.15. Okay. So very good. So this is nothing but the complete solution for this problem. Okay. Very good. 18 series 244 is saying that 1.15. Very good. So with this, we can conclude the second unit problem solves. So once you observe the problems and theoretical concepts, your second unit is very, very easy. Easily you will get 14 marks. 14 plus a short answer, that is 2 marks. So totally you will get 16 marks from this unit. And when you observe these problems, we have used very limited formulas, maximum 3 to 4 formulas only. Those formulas also we are very much familiar in the first unit itself. So that's why when you concentrate in the first unit and the second unit itself, you will get 16 plus 16, 32 marks. First 2 units are very, very easy. But the constraint which is present in your second unit is time taking. Because already I told you that in the morning class also we have seen, in order to solve those problems, it takes some time. So that's why my request is, or suggestion is, at the end of the examination also, try to manage your time. Because within a short time or within a less time, you must be able to solve these problems. When you spend much more time for getting the answers for these problems, then you may lose the remaining questions. So that's why try to manage your time in your final end examinations. So with this, we can conclude your second problems. Then we will go to university problems. So first, let us consider first one. All of you read this problem. So this is nothing but your previous university problem. All of you read. So all of you read this problem. And this problem is for 14 marks in the last year itself. So in a two-plant operation system, the hydro plant is operates for 8 hours during each day, and the steam plant is operate all over the day. The characteristics of the steam and hydro plants are CT and WH. When both plants are running, the power flow from steam plant to the load is 250 megawatts, and the total quantity of water is used for hydro plant operation during 8 hours is 225 into 10 power 6 meter cube. Find the generation of hydro plant and cost of water used. Neglect the transmission losses. Just now we have seen the same model, that is fifth problem and the sixth problem. Very, very simple problems and easy problems. And this problem is given for 14 marks. Within a short time means you can take maximum 5 to 10 minutes for solving this problem. When you know the basic formulas and basic approach, you will get 14 marks within a short time in your final end examination. So that's why I am leaving this one for your practice. So otherwise, if you have any doubt, please refer example 5 and 6, because this is exactly same as that of your example 5 and 6. So just now you have seen example 5 and 6th one. Okay, next we will take one more problem. So all of you read this problem, and this problem is also for 14 marks. Last year itself. A two-plant system having a thermal station near the load center and a hydropower station at remote location. The characteristics of both the stations are C1, W2 and gamma 2. The transmission loss coefficient is B22 equals to 0.0005 megawatt inverse. And what they're asking is determine the power generation at each station and the power received by the load, that is when lambda is equals to 50 rupees per megawatt hour. This is also very much familiar to us. Already we have solved the same problem in the morning class, not in the morning class, in the previous classes. So here what they're asking is power generation at each station, means we need to find out PGT at the same time PGH. How we can find out? Here we know lambda value. Go for optimal condition. What is optimal condition here? First consider a thermal power plant, then go for incremental fuel cost, that is dC1 by dPGT, and equate to 50. Then easily you will get PGT. Similarly, go for optimal condition for hydropower plant. That is nothing but gamma 2 into dW2 by dPGH, and again equate to 50. Then again you will get PGH value. That is nothing but PGT value and PGH value. And one more thing is beta, one more coefficient is there, that is nothing but B22. Why it is giving is, when you are considering this one, a two-plant system having a thermal station near to the load, means your load is connected very near to the thermal station. Very near to the thermal station. So that's why automatically the first coefficients will become 0. That is B11, B12 and B21. These three coefficients will become 0, and the remaining coefficient is nothing but only B22. So from this you can calculate loss, that is PL. So you can calculate PL, and you can calculate from this, you can calculate penalty factor for hydropower plant. So what is the formula for penalty factor? It is nothing but 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou PZ. So in order to find out the penalty factor, we must use this coefficient. Then automatically you will get here PGH. So this is the procedure for getting the answers. The same models we have done in the previous classes. So that's why I'm leaving this one for your practice. Still, if you have any doubt, refer example 1 and example 2. Same models. Exactly same models. And this is also for 14 marks. Okay. Similarly, we will go for one more problem. So all of you read this problem. So all of you read this problem. This is for 7 marks. A two-plant system having a stream plant near to the load means a load is very near to the stream plant and a hydro plant at a remote location. The load is 400 megawatts for 10 hours a day and 250 megawatts for 14 hours a day. And they have given characteristics for thermal and hydro. And similarly, they have given loss coefficient, that is B22 value. What they're asking is generation schedule, means we need to find out PGT and PGH. And along with this, we need to find out daily water used by hydro plant and daily operating cost for thermal power plant, that is which a value of gamma. So this is nothing but same as that of our morning class problems. We have done 2 problems based upon the same model. But unfortunately, this problem is given for 7 marks, but this is a somewhat lengthy one. So how to solve this problem? So we need to consider here 2 cases, case 1 and case 2. In the case 1, our load is 400 megawatts for 10 hours. Similarly, in the case 2, our load is 250 megawatts for 14 hours. We need to find out generation schedule, means PGT at the same time PGH. So how you can get this PGT and PGH means, again, use our limited formulas. What are the formulas here? Optimal condition, similarly power balance equation, and loss expression. When you know these 3 formulas, it's enough. It's enough to solve this problem. Only power balance equation and optimal condition for hydrothermal scheduling, and the next one is power loss expression. So when you know these, then you will get easily 7 marks or 14 marks. So in the morning class itself, we have done 2 problems based on the same model. So that's why I'm leaving this one also for your practice. Still, if you have any doubt, refer example 3 and example 4. Okay. So these are nothing but your previous university questions or problems from the second unit. So with this, we can wind up your second unit concepts. Okay. Now, the most important topic is conclusion. What is the conclusion? That is nothing but course outcome from the second unit. Course outcome from the second unit. So what is meant by course outcome? For example, if you want to study anything, there must be some output. We must learn something. That learning process generally represented with the course outcome. Because for the second unit also, we have been spending almost 11 hours. This is 11th hour for second unit. So after spending 11 hours, what we learn from the second unit? That is nothing but course outcome. Now, just I will give you some moment for you. Recall each and everything. What did you learn in your second unit? Recall from first class to today. Then think of yourself. What are the topics we have covered so far in the second unit? Then ask yourself, what did I learn from this unit? Ask yourself. Take a moment and I will ask you each and everything randomly. Let me pick up some of the persons. Let me take responses from your side. So meanwhile, think of it. What did you learn from the second unit? If anybody want to respond, please just raise your hand. Then I will change your settings. Please recall what are the concepts we have covered so far. No, anyone respond, please. Are you unable to unmute yourself? 214. 18 series 214, please respond.
Sir.
Yeah, please respond. What did you learn from this unit?
Scheduling of the thermal and hydro power plants.
Please try to
Our
increase
constraint
your
must be
volume. Yeah, tell me once again.
scheduling of optimal scheduling of hydro and thermal power plants. Sir. Our constraint must be cost.
Yeah, very good. Means the constraint is cost means optimal solution. Okay, then I will change your settings. So please, if you want anyone respond, please you can unmute yourself and you can respond. B not, B not. '17 series B not. Unmute yourself and respond. What did you learn? Yeah, are you able to unmute yourself? So let me try to change your settings. Now, just now I changed your settings. Please try now. B not. Otherwise, use our chat box. Use our chat box. What did you learn from this unit? Yes, respond in our, put your answers or responses in our chat box. Yes, very good. So before is saying that optimal solution. Yes, I am getting the response that is A5 is saying that scheduling of power plants according to the demand means both the power plants idle at the same time thermal. And 17 series A7 is saying that how power is shared between hydro and thermal power plants in optimal way. Very good. Then one more person, please respond in our chat box. Yes, before is saying that optimal solution in hydrothermal power plants. Yes, very good. So these are nothing but some of the responses. Now, if you put this learning course outcome in one question, that is nothing but are you able to determine optimal scheduling of hydrothermal power plants using Lagrange optimization technique. Lagrange optimization technique means here auxiliary function, lambda value. So here also we are using lambda value only. Yes, B naught is saying that optimal scheduling of hydrothermal systems, very good. So once if I ask the question like this, what would be your response? Yes or no? Because still now we have seen how to scheduling hydrothermal power plants in an optimal manner. Whether we have seen the theoretical concepts problems, the main objective in this unit is we need to schedule these two power plants in an optimal way by using some auxiliary function. So this is nothing but our course outcome from this second unit. So when I ask this question, definitely your answer would be yes only. So for example, if your answer is yes, then automatically we achieve whatever the outcome is there, we achieve that outcome from this unit. So this is nothing but the course outcome from this second unit. So with this, we can close your second unit. Okay, before going to conclude today's discussion, let me ask you a very simple question. That is nothing but observational question. For example, when you consider any meters, I'm considering here 1 meter. This meter will have current reading and voltage reading and frequency reading also. But instead of taking this meter, I will take one more meter. It would be somewhat easier for you. Ammeter. Now here in this one, the needle represents 5 amperes. It may be 5 amperes or 5 milliamperes. It is secondary, but the value is nothing but 5. So whenever this needle shows 5, simply we will note down it is nothing but 5. In the second one, it is showing that 15. So by seeing this meter, blindly we can note down its value is equals to 15. Similarly, in voltmeter also same thing. The voltmeter shows 100 volts. Blindly we will take down the 100 volts. Similarly, if the voltmeter represents or shows 200 volts, blindly we will take down the 200 volts. But along with these meters, we have one more meter is there, that is a wattmeter. The wattmeter shows 150. If the wattmeter reading is present at 150 on the scale, we can't take that 150 blindly. We need to consider one more factor. That factor is nothing but multiplication factor. For example, if your wattmeter shows 100, then 100 into multiplication factor. That multiplication factor may be 0.5 or 1 or whatever it is, depends upon the connections. But here my question is, when you are considering ammeters and voltmeters, whatever the values are coming in these meters, we are directly noting down those values. But when you are considering the wattmeter, whatever the value is coming in the wattmeter, we are not directly or blindly not taking that value. So along with that value, we are taking one more factor, that is nothing but multiplication factor. And my question is, why we need to consider the multiplication factor for wattmeter? We are not considering this multiplication factor for ammeter and voltmeter, and we are considering only for wattmeter only. Why it is? Let's respond in our chat box. Anyone respond? Why we need to consider a multiplication factor for wattmeter only? Eighteen says 252 is saying that because of the shunts and multipliers. Of course, in order to extend the measurement of the voltage and current, we also use in ammeter and voltmeter also. But in that case also we will not use this multiplication factor for ammeter and voltmeter. Please anyone respond. Why we need to consider a multiplication factor for wattmeter? Yeah, one person is saying that because of the power factor. Power factor. So, for example, if you consider the wattmeter, so let me come to your point. When you are considering the power factor, the formula for power is nothing but real power is VI cos phi and the reactive power is VI sin phi for single phase. But when you are considering cos phi value and sin phi value, the maximum values for cos phi and sin phi is in between 0 to 1 only. In between 0 to 1 only. But when you see the practically, the multiplication factor is not only present in between 0 to 1. It may be 2, it may be 4. Understood everybody? So this is not at all related to a power factor. If somebody is there. 17 series A0 is saying that for different current ratings, we will connect different coils, B1, B2, like that, according to factor will change. Of course, you are saying that how we can take our multiplication factor, whether it may be 2 or it may be 4. So depends upon this procedure, we will take that factor. But my fundamental question is why we need to consider this multiplication factor for wattmeter itself. That is my question. '18 series 214 is saying that reduce the complexity in scale. So how you can reduce the complexity in scale? Now tell me, basically, for example, when you are considering ammeter, in our laboratories also we have 3 to 4 scales are there. Minimum of 2 scales will be there. Similarly, voltmeter also minimum of 2 scales will be there. So are you facing any complexity in wattmeter? Or are you facing any complexity in order to measure the power from the wattmeter? So in which case you will have a complexity in scale. Yes, anyone respond? So again, one more person is also saying that power factor. So already I covered this point. Power factor is not at all a complete solution for this one. No way related to this solution. So please, all of you rethink about this point. Okay. So with this, let me wind up today's discussion. And thank you very much.